Evening and welcome to the second Coshocton County Community Band Concert of the summer from the fabulous Gazebo Crystal Ballroom on our court square. I'm Gordon Kendall, and tonight we celebrate March composers that called Ohio home. Please welcome to the podium our director, Christy Cochran. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please join the Coshocton County Community Band in singing our national anthem, led again tonight by our own Tim Vance.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light, once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we won were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Oh, we have a sparse crowd tonight, but I know you're going to be enthusiastic. It kind of reminds me of church on Sunday morning when the back pews fill up first. You're more than welcome to move forward if you'd like, but we might blast you out. Ohio has been the birthplace of many, many composers. In fact, we have one of those composers in our band, West Lafayette resident Ron Geese. The band always supports their own. This evening, we will feature some of those Ohio composers who were known for their marches. We begin with Carl Lawrence King, who was born in the village of Paintersville in Greene County, Ohio, on February 21, 1891, and grew up in Xenia, Cleveland, and finally Canton. The local town band in Canton stirred his love and talent for music, so at the age of 11, he bought a cornet with money earned from selling newspapers and began taking lessons. He soon exchanged that instrument for a euphonium, which he played in the Canton Marine Band, which was made up of boys his own age. Carl's only formal music instruction consisted of 4 piano lessons and 1 harmony lesson. Since his formal education ended with completion of the 8th grade, he then set about learning the printing trade as an apprentice. Composing at night, Carl worked at the printer shop during the day. Our first Carl King piece was written around 1920 and is called Hosts of Freedom. I hope that was the right tempo. Carl King joined Robinson's famous circus at the age of 19 as a baritone player. He joined the circus world at a time when the acts were in great need of special music, since standard music of the time did not fit. Carl King was a master at writing music to match the rhythm of the acts and quickly rose to leadership positions in some of the most famous circus bands in the country, including the Buffalo Bill and the Barnum and Bailey. He contributed more circus marches than any other composer, and aerial waltzes and circus gallops were his specialty. At the time of our next march was written, there were 3 well-known Robinson circuses: Robinson's famous shows, Yankee Robinson Circus, and John Robinson Circus. King reportedly omitted his customary specific dedication so that this march could be claimed by each of the 3 circus bands as its own. Written at a time when original American music was beginning to replace some of the transcriptions that circus bands had played through much of the 19th century, it became and has remained one of his most popular works. Here is Robinson's Grand Entree March. Time and time again, audiences around the world have expressed the desire to hear a great march. Carl King is the master when it comes to providing a rousing rendition of an exciting march associated with the circus. King was in his 60s when he wrote our next piece. He had moved to Fort Dodge, Iowa in 1920 as a result of a classified advertisement in a national musicians publication for the position of conductor of the Fort Dodge Municipal Band. a post which he accepted and held for over 50 years. There in Fort Dodge, he raised his family. He had one son, Carl Jr., established a successful music publishing business, composed music, and directed the municipal band. He and his band appeared at numerous state and regional fairs, rodeos, and expositions, as well as local concerts. James Swearingen, an Ohio composer himself, arranged this King piece entitled Voice of America in 2019, and we hope you enjoy it. Carl King's best-known composition has to be Barnum and Bailey's Favorite. This march has the power to conjure up the whole magnificent scene of the old tent circus, all the aromas, the sounds, the sights, and of course, the circus band. King wrote this march for the 32-piece Barnum and Bailey Circus Band in 1913 at the request of the director. King was 22 at the time and was preparing to join the band as a euphonium player. The euphonium can be heard in a rousing counter melody. His use of the word favorite in the title proved quite appropriate, as a 1980 International Music Survey ranked this march 4th in the top 140 marches. Here is Barnum and Bailey's Favorite. Carl King's gift for composing was apparent at an early age, and he had several compositions published while still in his teens. When he finally put down his pen after 50 years, Carl King had published over 300 musical compositions, not counting the ones he had given away or had not bothered to publish. In all, King published over 200 marches, which earned him the title America's Circus March King. In addition to this impressive feat, he also composed waltzes, overtures, intermezzos, serenades, dirges, rags, and gallops, totaling almost another 100 selections. Many of his works were written in tents by the light of a flashlight or kerosene lantern. He was at his best when music was needed at a moment's notice. Our final composition by Carl King is Aces of the Air, again arranged by James Swearingen. Our next march was written by a Newcomerstown son, Manuel Yingling. He was born on October 24, 1872, and after going through the Newcomerstown school system, he made his way to Oberlin College and the Boston Conservatory. Manny, as he was sometimes referred, performed with many, many bands, including the John Philip Sousa Band. He was often featured as a virtuoso trombone soloist and was a composer and arranger. Yingling always maintained a home in Newcomerstown, and there conducted the Hyperion Band and owned and operated a music store. He passed away at the far too young age of 52. The band would now like to perform his piece called Kentucky Thoroughbred. Our next Ohio composer is Henry Fillmore. James Henry Fillmore Jr. was born in Cincinnati in 1881. His father was a composer of gospel music and was a highly religious presence in the Fillmore household. In fact, when his mother gave him a used trombone, young Henry and his mother kept it a secret from his father, who believed the trombone was an uncouth and sinful instrument. Aren't you folks just a little ashamed? He began composing music at the age of 18 and graduated from the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. Afterwards, he traveled around the United States as a bandmaster with his wife, exotic dancer Mabel May Jones. That was another contentious issue between Henry and his father. Fillmore dedicated our next march to the President Warren G. Harding and his staunch loyalists in 1921, the year Harding became the 29th President of the United States. Harding had played alto horn in his hometown band of Caledonia and later Marion, Ohio, where his family had moved. His high school popularity continued into adulthood, and Harding was elected to the state Senate in 1898 and to the U.S. Congress as a senator in 1914. In 1920, the small-town hero took advantage of the American mood against the restrictions of the war years and ran a successful campaign for the nation's highest office. This is Men of Ohio. Fillmore wrote over 250 tunes and arranged hundreds more. Fillmore also published a great number of tunes under various pseudonyms such as Harold Bennett, Ray Hall, Harry Hartley, Al Hayes, Will Huff, and even a female name, Henrietta Hall. Our next march was written under the Will Huff persona. This name apparently came from an argument with his father over the young man's directions as a composer. The senior Fillmore wanted his offspring to concentrate on church music. Young Henry apparently said, "I will huff and puff and write my own music." And Will Huff was born. Here is the Showboy. Our final Henry Fillmore piece is the Footlifter March. It was composed for a series of radio broadcasts sponsored by a small Cincinnati insurance agency in 1928. The company's slogan was "A penny a day" for insurance, and the march was referred to as the Penny a Day March for the short duration of the sponsorship, short because of the widespread depression. However, the president of the agency remarked that the piece certainly was a foot lifter, and Fillmore used the title while the work was still in manuscript. During a discussion with his good friend Phil Gates at a band concert in Piqua, Ohio in 1930, Fillmore remarked that the most energetic foot lifters were the best marches. Gates then suggested the same term for a future march title, not realizing the coincidence, and the name became permanent. It was published in 1935. Here is the Foot Lifter. Thank you for attending our concert this evening. Please return next Friday to hear the Lake Park Big Band. They will perform at 8 o'clock, but at 7 you can take a free crash waltz dance course with Tim Cohen. The community band will return to the square on June 30 with our patriotic concert. Our final piece is by John Clore, born in 1869 in Cincinnati. A graduate of the Cincinnati Public Schools, Clore set up a career in music, especially vaudeville. He was a vaudeville trombonist by trade, but also performed in other groups as a member of Cincinnati's musical life. He played in the Syrian Temple Shrine Band, led by fellow composer Henry Fillmore. From 1921 to 26, Clore was a trombonist in Henry Fillmore's concert band. The Billboard March was dedicated to the general amusement paper of the same name and published in 1901. Clore didn't think much of the march at first, but conceded it was a success after the royalties paid for his home in Cincinnati. The trio is still well known as a show business emblem, accompanying everything from circus parades to stand-up comedians' entrances. Please enjoy the Billboard March. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful weekend.